characters into their opposites. This is how the process works. I take a character, for example, Olaf, and Craig finds their 3 main attributes and key color. Then I ask Craig to flip those to their opposites, and he prints the character as their opposite version. I also made a brand new poster with each character as their opposite, and I'll slowly reveal it to you throughout the video. Starting with the character Queen Elinor. The picture of poise and royal grace. This is how they wave. Fun fact about Queen Elinor. In Ralph Breaks the Internet, Merida is wearing a shirt with Elinor as a bear, and it says, Mum. Okay, Craig, what are the 3 main attributes and key color of Queen Elinor? So according to Craig, her first attribute is wise. She carefully balances her role as a mother and queen, guiding Merida with a steady hand. Her second is diplomatic. Elinor shows her tact in handling clan disputes and royal gatherings. Her third is loving. Despite her strict exterior, she deeply loves and protects her family. And the color she's most seen in is emerald green. Okay, Craig, what is the opposite of wise, diplomatic, loving, and the color emerald green? So according to Craig, the opposite of wise is impulsive, the opposite of diplomatic is rash, and the opposite of loving is indifferent. And the opposite of emerald green is crimson red. Okay, Craig, with these new attributes and key color, make us Queen Elinor as her opposite. This is Queen Elinor as her opposite. Let's see how this version of Elinor would impact the storyline of Brave. Because Queen Elinor is impulsive, she makes sudden decisions that risk the peace among the clans. Since she's rash, she might act without considering the consequences, leading to chaos. Because she's indifferent, in the end, she'd push Merida away, missing the chance to mend their bond. For the attribute impulsive, I guess she could look impulsive, like doing things without considering them. Rash, I can see how she could be rash. Indifferent? Yeah, she does look pretty indifferent. And she is wearing crimson red in her dress, so that's pretty good. So on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm gonna give you a 6 out of 10. Let's add her to the poster. There she is, just chilling. Good job, Craig. Next up is the witch. The character that gave me nightmares when I was little. Here's a fun fact about the witch. In the scene taking place in her cottage, there's a picture of Sully from Monsters, Inc. That's a pretty clever Easter egg, Pixar. Okay, Craig, what are the 3 main attributes and key color of the witch? So according to Craig, her first attribute is mysterious. She appears out of nowhere and vanishes just as quickly. Her second is eccentric. Her quirky behavior is shown through her unconventional way of communicating. Her third is enigmatic. Her true intentions and backstory remain a puzzle. And the color she's most seen in is moss green. Okay, Craig, what is the opposite of mysterious, eccentric, enigmatic, and the color moss green? So according to Craig, the opposite of mysterious is predictable, the opposite of eccentric is serious, and the opposite of enigmatic is transparent, and the opposite of moss green is deep red. Okay, Craig, with these new attributes and key colors, make us the witch as her opposite. This is the witch as her opposite. Now let's see how this version of the witch would impact the storyline of Brave. Because the witch is predictable, Merida wouldn't be surprised by the spell's consequences. Since she's serious, her interactions would lack whimsy, making the magic feel more transactional. Because she's transparent, in the end, she'd openly explain the spell, avoiding confusion. For predictable, she does look pretty predictable, like she's not mysterious like she was before. For serious, she actually doesn't look serious at all. And transparent, she looked like she'd tell you the weirdest facts ever about anything. And she's wearing deep red, which is pretty good. Yeah, this one is still gonna give me nightmares, honestly. Now on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm gonna give you a 5.5 out of 10. Now let's add her to the poster. There she is, as creepy as ever. I'm not sure what I think about her, Craig. Now on to the triplets, the most adorable characters in the movie. Here's the fun fact about the triplets. Throughout the entire film, they never say a word. They sound like the best brothers. I'm joking. Okay, Craig, what are the 3 main attributes and key colors of the triplets? So according to Craig, their first attribute is playful, constantly finding ways to get into mischief. Their second is clever. They're sharp-witted, able to outsmart adults effortlessly. Their third is loyal. Despite their antics, they will always support their family. And the color they're most seen in is dark green. Okay, Craig, what is the opposite of playful, clever, loyal, and the color dark green? So according to Craig, the opposite of playful is serious, the opposite of clever is gullible, and the opposite of loyal is rebellious, and the opposite of dark green is bright red. Okay, Craig, with these new attributes and key color, make us the triplets as their opposites. This is the triplets as their opposites. Let's see how this version of the triplets would impact the storyline of Brave. Because the triplets are serious, they'd avoid fun and act more like adults. Since they're gullible, they'd easily fall for others' tricks, losing their playful edge. Because they're rebellious, in the end, they'd challenge Merida and Elinor instead of helping. For serious, I can see how they look serious. For gullible, they definitely look so gullible. But for rebellious, they kind of look too timid to be rebellious. And they're definitely not as cute as the originals. But on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm gonna give them a 7 out of 10. Now let's add them to the poster. Look at them. 3 annoying little brothers. I'm joking. Great job, Craig. Great job. Next up is King Fergus, the big buff man with red hair and only 1 foot. Fun fact about King Fergus. The name Fergus means strong man in Gaelic. That's pretty accurate for the big buff man with red hair and 1 foot. Okay, Craig, what are the 3 main attributes and key color of King Fergus? So according to Craig, his first attribute is brave. He faces any threat head on, especially when it involves protecting his family. His second is humorous, always ready to share a laugh or an exaggerated tale. His third is protective. His fierce loyalty to his family drives his every move. And the color he's most seen in is royal blue. Okay, Craig, what is the opposite of brave, humorous, protective, and the color royal blue? So according to Craig, the opposite of brave is timid, the opposite of humorous is serious, and the opposite of protective is detached. And the opposite of royal blue is pale yellow. Okay, Craig, with these new attributes and key colors, make us King Fergus as his opposite. This is King Fergus as his opposite. Let's see how this version of King Fergus would impact the storyline of Brave. Because King Fergus is timid, he'd avoid confrontation, leaving the clan defenseless. Since he's serious, he'd lack his usual charm, making the atmosphere more tense. Because he's detached, in the end, he'd miss connecting with Merida and Elinor during their time of need. For timid, he does kind of look timid. For serious, he definitely looks serious, like he's about to get onto you. And for detached, he's all alone, and so I feel like he is detached. And he is wearing pale yellow. But what on earth is that kilt? All in all, you did decent, Craig, so I'm gonna give you a 7 out of 10. Let's add him to the poster. There he is, detached and depressed. I feel him. Next is Mor'Du. 3-year-old Blessing was horrified of him. She still is. I'm still frightened by him. Here's a little fun fact about Mor'Du. Mor'Du is the first Pixar villain who doesn't speak for the entire movie, which makes him even more terrifying. Okay, Craig, what are the 3 main attributes and key color of Mor'Du? So according to Craig, his first attribute is fierce. His strength is unmatched, making him feared by all. His second is cursed, a tragic figure bound by dark magic. His third is relentless. He never stops hunting, driven by his desire for power. And the color he's seen in most is black. Okay, Craig, what is the opposite of fierce, cursed, relentless, and the color black? So according to Craig, the opposite of fierce is tame, the opposite of cursed is blessed, and the opposite of relentless is content, and the opposite of black is white. Okay, Craig, with these new attributes and key colors, make us Mor'Du as his opposite. This is Mor'Du as his opposite. Let's see how this version of Mor'Du would impact the storyline of Brave. Because Mor'Du is tame, he'd pose no threat, changing the story's stakes. Since he's blessed, he'd be free from the curse and roam as a gentle giant. Because he's content, in the end, he'd find peace and harmony instead of conflict. For tame, he looks absolutely tame, and for blessed, he's out in the woods. And for content, he looks happy. He looks like so content with life, you know? And for white, he is completely white, so Mor'Du, more like less do. You did pretty good, Craig, so I'm gonna give you an 8 out of 10. Now let's add him to the poster. There he is, just chilling, not a worry in the the world. That's my goal in life. Be just like him. And finally, my favorite character, Merida. One of my fellow gingers. We gotta stick together out here. Fun fact about Merida. Merida is the first Pixar princess that has a brother, and she has 3 of them. Okay, Craig, what are the 3 main attributes and key color of Merida? So according to Craig, her first attribute is courageous. She's not afraid to take risks and forge her own path. Her second is independent. Merida doesn't follow the norm and seeks her own destiny. Her third is determined. No obstacle can hold her back from her goals. And the color she's most seen in is dark blue. Okay, Craig, what is the opposite of courageous, independent, determined, and the color dark blue? So according to Craig, the opposite of courageous is fearful, the opposite of independent is dependent, and the opposite of determined is indecisive, and the opposite of dark blue is bright yellow. Okay, Craig, with these new attributes and key colors, make us Merida as her opposite. This is Merida as her opposite. Now let's see how this version of Merida would impact the storyline of Brave. Because Merida is fearful, she'd avoid taking action, staying safe within the castle walls. Since she's dependent, she'd rely heavily on others to make her decisions for her. Because she's indecisive, in the end, she'd struggle to stand up for herself and her beliefs. For fearful, she looks a lot more scared than the original would be, and for dependent, she definitely looks like she would want everybody to make decisions for her. And for indecisive, yeah, she looks indecisive. And she is wearing the color bright yellow. So Craig, I'm gonna give you a 9 out of 10. Let's finish the poster.